Welcome to the Nitro College Football Show's DAWGS post game. And what a game we have to talk about tonight. Georgia goes into Knoxville, mouth of the beast, and wins a game that they had no business winning. The way that things unfolded and the way that Georgia played, Tennessee, by all rights, should have won this game. They had it down at the end of the game with a chip shot field goal. And by the grace of God, somehow Georgia gets lucky as hell. Tennessee misses that field goal, and Georgia takes it in overtime and gets the victory. It was the most stressful game. I have to admit, it was super stressful. My heart rate was going up and down. May have had quite a few adult beverages to calm the nerves. I don't think it helped, frankly, but good Lord. We saw a lot of stuff happen today. We saw Gunnar Stockton get his first start, and it was kind of up and down. In the end, like he played great enough to win the game. He didn't necessarily show us that like he's going to carry the team to victories. The run game was fantastic. We have a stable of running backs that just was able to go, and that was great to see. It was great to see the O-line do some good run blocking. We're still have some issues on some things, but it's a young team. This is a very young team, and that goes especially for the defense. Super young defense, and we saw the defense get exposed today. Props to Tennessee. That's a damn good football team. Joey Aguilar, good quarterback. That offense is legit this year. Doesn't seem like it's just like the gimmick offense that, we've made fun of in the past. They're a legit run first team, and Joey Aguilar wasn't afraid to throw up those 50-50 balls, and his receivers won. And that's something that we're not really used to seeing. And maybe it's just because, in the past, our front seven has been able to affect the quarterback better than any other team. And the numbers show it in the NFL, Georgia leads the world in sacks. But we don't necessarily have that right now. And so you're seeing Joey Aguilar get a little more time than he would have in past years against the Georgia defense. And also props to that Tennessee offensive line. I think they said on the broadcast that they actually replaced like 4 starters from that line. And you could, I wouldn't have been able to tell. They balled out. That is a really good offensive line. And Georgia's defense was kind of weird on some drives. It couldn't stop anything. As Nick Saban would say, went through us faster than shit through a tin horn. I don't know what that means or why you would do it, but I guess that's what happened. Saw that on several drives. But then we saw Georgia's defense play extremely well as well. They didn't necessarily get the job done when it absolutely needed to be done, but they did it enough to give Georgia a chance to win the game. The difference between these two teams right now is that Georgia has a culture of winning. They know they are in these games, and Kirby brings a certain mindset that you're never really out of it. And so they just keep chopping. That's the early phrase from back in Kirby's early days. Keep chopping. And they did. And you never know what's going to happen in a game. And as much as we all thought it was over. You thought it. Don't tell me you didn't think it. You thought the Dogs were out. You thought the Dogs were lost. Hell, I did. We had no business winning that. But somehow, some way, keep dropping funky beats every single day. And Georgia really pulled it out of the hat today. I mean, somebody made a deal and got through this game. But I'm really proud of the team as a whole. because they showed guts. They stuck with it. They never gave up. They weren't going away, even when things didn't work out great. They took what was given to them. There was too many drives where the offense didn't get in the end zone and had to settle for field goals. If that is different, then this game's not as close. But credit to Tennessee's defense. They've got a pretty decent defense, I guess. They're okay. I'm still suspect on Tennessee's defense. They do have some great defensive players. Their defensive linemen was wearing out the right side of our offensive line. Monroe Freeling got jacked up on one play. I mean, he just looked like a child out there getting thrown around. Not used to seeing that happen to a Georgia lineman, and that made me like, oh God. And then we just saw all day that right side was just given the passing game fits, and that made it really tough for Gunner. And credit to him, he stuck in there. He made some throws even when he was staring down the barrel of the gun, and made the most important throw at the end of the game at 4th and 6. I mean, great play, gutsy play. When they say that this guy is a winner, I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, he had phenomenal numbers. He really did, but you just like throughout the game, you didn't feel like he was going to be the guy you leaned on to carry that team. And he really wasn't. I mean, it was an ultimate team effort. He did enough to be successful. The run game was fantastic. The receivers, they did great. This group of receivers is night and day over last year's receiver core. I mean, first play out of the gate, Gunner hits Colby Young on a go route. Shocks everybody. Shocked me. I was like, wow. And it was a perfect throw. Great catch. Great to see. And I was like, okay, maybe we're going to have some success here. And first drives, both teams' first drives were great. So let's talk about a little bit of a rundown of the game here. So Tennessee's opening drive, they made it look as easy as it could be. Georgia wasn't stopping anybody on that drive. Tennessee just basically ran straight down the field, scored a touchdown, said, okay, where do I kick off? So they did that, but the Dogs responded. Great deep ball to Young, like I said, and Georgia drives it down, scores a touchdown, and we're like, okay, we got a ball game here. We might have an offense to keep up with this. And then turn around, Tennessee scores on a 72-yard touchdown bomb on Ellis Robinson. Ellis Robinson made just a huge mistake, and he got called for pass interference on this play, but he should have just tackled the damn guy and taken the penalty. It's college. It's not a spot foul. And even if it was, you're saving a touchdown. But he's a redshirt freshman. This is his first true big game that he's played in. And it showed. We saw a lot of that on the defense today. And so Tennessee goes up 14 to 7. And then the next drive, Georgia just has a terrible offensive series, 3 and out, and Tennessee scores another touchdown on a long drive. But I felt like they were bailed out on a questionable pass interference call on Ellis Robinson, probably just because of my Georgia bias, but I don't care. I didn't think it was pass interference, but it just felt like the Georgia defense at that point in the game just couldn't stop anybody. They couldn't stop the run game, couldn't stop the pass game, couldn't stop Joey Aguilar getting out of the pocket. I mean, it didn't matter. So Tennessee gets that long touchdown, and Georgia responds. I mean, this was a game of Georgia responding over and over and over. So the next drive, Georgia has a great long drive, helped out by going forward on fourth down. Zachariah Branch does Zachariah Branch things, scores on a 36-yard touchdown, just like we saw against Marshall. Just nothing fancy. Just throw it out to him, let him do his thing. And he took it to the house. It was awesome. And this gets DAWGS back in the game. And the DAWGS then, get a good stop the next drive, force a punt. But that punt, this was one of the crazier things in the game. And it's pretty impressive, actually. Tennessee punts the ball. And it was a really good punt. And it looks like it's about to go into the end zone for a touchback. And I'm thinking, yes. Next thing we know, Tennessee's long snapper sprinting down the field. This is like something out of the Matrix here. The ball was flipping just enough where the nose of it wasn't going over the goal line, and he just swats it back into play and pins Georgia super deep in the end zone. I mean, it was ultimate hustle play. Very impressive. Props to that guy. He should get a helmet sticker. And of course, DAWGS have to punt because it's just terrible field position against a decent defense and forces Tennessee to punt. So we're looking at an absolute slugfest. These teams were going after it. This was strong on strong. This was iron on iron. This was big meaty men slapping meat, as they say in pro wrestling. Absolute slugfest. Tennessee's defense, I think, is pretty legit. And then we saw one of the funnier plays of the game. At least that I thought it was funny. It reminded me of Antonio Brown. So Oscar Delp gets a pass and he's going to hurdle a guy, but the guy doesn't go low. So he ends up like cleating him in the face, just like AB did. Of course, this was not on purpose, but it was funny. And then Georgia's run game was really strong on that drive and ended up really stalling down at the goal line, though. Tennessee's defense did a great goal line stand, causing huge fourth down play that wasn't sure if we were going to go for it or not. Georgia ends up taking the field goal, which I think was smart, no pun intended. But you got to take points when you can get them, especially when you're on the road. And if we don't get those 3 points, we don't have a chance to win at the end of the game. So then Georgia stops Tennessee, gets the ball back, but then fails to even get into field goal position. And in a weird kind of thing, very last play of the half, coach puts Ryan Puglisi in to throw a Hail Mary. And hey, why not? Worst that happened is it get intercepted, and that's what happened. And it was all the way at the end of the field, into the first half. So wild first half. Georgia goes into the half down. Let's see, it was 21-10 at halftime. Really close, really good momentum shift there. Getting those points, getting the stop, having the ball, just being able to get some momentum at the end of that half. Georgia comes out second half with what I say is the most impressive drive that Georgia has had in 2 years. I mean, the running game was on point. Georgia exerted its will on Tennessee's defense on this drive. It was just run after run after run, and nothing was stopping them, and ended up getting a touchdown out of it. Awesome. That is classic Georgia football. That's what we want to see. And then Tennessee, we stopped them. Yeah, we stop him. Aguilar had some great plays today. He had a great pass defense where I was complaining that he didn't hit him hard enough. And then on this play, Aguilar comes in and just absolutely destroys him. It was awesome. He had a really great game. And then Georgia gets the ball back, goes 3 and out. And then because Tennessee was just focused on the run. And then we get a huge interception by KJ Bolden. Aguilar then turns around, throws a one-on-one 50-50 ball against Harris. Harris loses. Touchdown Tennessee. And you're just thinking, come on. Why can't we stop this? This is ridiculous. We're seeing it too much. But that's just how it went. And then you kind of start getting the feeling that Kirby didn't really trust Gunner at this point in the game. Georgia got really, really conservative, had some good drives, but just couldn't get in the end zone. Another field goal. And then Tennessee scores on another long pass play, and the defense just looks lost. This defense was Jekyll and Hyde all day long. Some drives, they look like best ever, and other drives, worst ever. It didn't matter. Crazy. But somehow we get near the end of the game. Georgia's down and really needs a touchdown. Down by 8. Get down to Tennessee territory. It's 4th down and 6. Gunner drops back. Gutsy call by Kirby Smart. And out of the blue, great throw. Hits London Humphreys for a touchdown. Just awesome. Great play. It was fantastic. Went nuts. Whole house went nuts. Georgia ties it and then holds Tennessee, keeps them from scoring. Yeah, and then this last drive of the game, craziest game. Tennessee drives it all the way down into scoring position, chip shot field goal. They miss it, overtime. Then Georgia wins the toss. Georgia stops Tennessee. They settle for a field goal. He kind of redeems himself. And then Georgia lines up on offense, 3 tight ends, hands to Frazier, gets it down inside the 5. And then we hand it to Josh McCray. And on that last play, it was really weird. He got the ball. They didn't call it a touchdown initially, but when they reviewed it, they saw that the ball actually crossed the plane, and we lost it. I mean, it was awesome. Just yelling, I'm screaming around the house, just craziness. So awesome game. One of the craziest games I've seen. And like I said, Georgia didn't have any business winning this game. Tennessee should have won. They played their hearts out, but it just didn't work out for them in the end. And thank God. But I don't think Tennessee's going away. I don't think their season's over by any stretch of the imagination. They look like they have the potential to still make the playoff if they win out, or maybe drop no more than one game. But yeah, I would expect potentially see them again at the end of the season. Just going through some of the stats here. Offensive stats are just absolutely insane this week. Georgia had 502 total yards, and Tennessee had 496. So that's kind of shocking. Georgia actually had more yards than Tennessee. The difference, though, is in the passing game. So Tennessee threw for 371. Georgia threw for 304. Georgia ran the ball for almost 200 yards, 198 yards, and Tennessee only had 125. So that rushing attack really was the difference in the game. But man, Tennessee, their yards per play, 7.1 yards per play it's crazy. That's ridiculous. Just a really evenly matched game, really evenly matched. At first, we thought Georgia was gonna get tons of penalties, it looked like, but in the end, they only had 5, and Tennessee ended up having 10 penalties. Gunner threw for 304, 23 of 31. Okay, 300 yards looks great. But I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. I don't know what to think of Gunner just yet. He might be the guy. I mean, that throw at the end of the game, getting that touchdown. I mean, he made some great runs. It was his first road start, so you got to give him a little bit of grace there, right? I mean, it's not really fair to judge someone's career off their first road start in the SEC. Doesn't always go great for people. We've seen that plenty of times. I mean, hell, look at Alabama against FSU this year. Ty Simpson, not a great game. Wasn't the SEC, but Florida State's a pretty good team. Man, rushing game, we had three running backs with more than 10 carries each. That's some dedication to the run. Nate Frazier was leading rusher. He had 73 yards. Actually averaged five yards a carry. That was great. Gunnar Stockton, he ran the ball 13. Count him into that running back game. And Chauncey Bowens had kind of an up and down game. Numbers not great. 12 for 32, only 2.7 per carry. And we saw just a little bit of Dwight Phillips. He had some good runs. Looked like his last one he got hurt, so not sure what was going on there. And then of course Josh McCray, he was brought in for pretty much short yardage downs, which is to be expected. Receivers, Georgia spread the ball really well. Colby Young, leading receiver, 4 catches, 73 yards. Zachariah Branch, 5 catches, 69 yards. Nice. London Humphreys, play of the game, 2 catches, 59 yards, getting that touchdown. Just good stuff. Good stuff. And I got to say, it's great knowing that our kicking game is probably the best in the country. I think we have the most sound, solid kicking game of any team in the country. Peyton Woodring, he's awesome. He was 3 for 3, had a long of 48. Brett Thorson kills it. I mean, such a weapon, being able to flip the field, give Georgia a chance to pin them deep a little bit. 3 punts. We only punted 3 times. 143. So he averaged 48 yards a punt. That's pretty good. So, yeah. I'm about done. My voice is almost done. Hell of a game. Interesting to see what happens moving forward. We get the bye week this next week, and then Bama comes to town, and they look like they have gotten right. But we'll see. Bama struggles on the road. I fully expect that to be a battle. But man, what a game today. What a game. It was one of the most exciting games that I've seen in a while. Although these past few years, Georgia games, there's been a lot of them. Last year, no exception. I mean, the Tech game at the end of the year, Texas, both times. Plenty of highlights there. Good stuff. Good stuff from the team. Good to see them stick with it, not give up, keep chopping, hang tough till the end, and ultimately bring home that dub, man. Georgia wins. Dog fans, be happy, celebrate, enjoy this victory, because it's one that probably shouldn't have had, but good teams win this way. Tennessee fans they're going to talk all their crap no matter what, whatever. Props to their team. I mean, Tennessee's a good team. Don't like their fans, but Tennessee's a good team. Anyway, I'm shot. I'm beat. I'm going to go ice down my knees and all that good stuff. I'm going to sit back and watch the rest of these college football games. Catch us tomorrow. We'll be live at 9:00, Nitro College Football Show. We're going to talk about all these big games that happened this weekend. A little more in-depth discussion on the Georgia game. So appreciate you, and go Dogs.